And we are live. This is Travis from Carter Kyle Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the forex market. This is another episode of Trade with Travis, episode 279, Monday morning, 6:45. As I go through real quick, just wanted to get through a quick session of being able to see what's going on with the charts. Haven't been doing anything pretty much live all week. I've been on vacation, so wanted to make sure I end up saying hey to everybody. I wanted to make sure that obviously I end up taking a look at what's going on with my own charts to make sure that I'm good to go when it comes down to everything that's happening from a trading perspective, and also um, just getting to a point where feeling pretty comfortable about what I'm looking at overall going into this week. So let's take a look at what's happening with the market, and we can go ahead and jump in from there. So I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. And understand that trading involves risk, and involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind, and understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So here we go. This is the third week of the month. Typically, the third week, what you're going to end up seeing is probably going to end up seeing something about interest rate decisions. Probably going to end up seeing something about FOMC. We're going to today. There's not going to be much information about until President Lagarde ends up speaking a little bit later on today. We see that we end up having GDP for China, retail sales for China, something to be able to pay attention to. We're going to end up having consumer price index with the Canadian dollar on Tuesday. Going into Wednesday, not going to be much news. Going into Thursday, you're going to end up having Fed Bowman end up speaking, going to end up having an interest rate decision from China. And then on Friday, you're going to end up having retail sales from Canada. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a relatively slow week overall. But we'll pay attention to everything that we end up seeing off the charts and kind of go from there. Um, let's go to Smart Trader. Let's take a look at what's happening with the big three. Going to be very quick with this, and then after that, we'll kind of jump off of it. I haven't traded since actually leaving and going on vacation. So my automation systems have been doing most of the stuff. I'm just going to talk through everything that we was at last week before me going on vacation. Essentially, uh, gold ended up pushing above 2,000. Then after that, ended up pushing down to the downside. There's a overall consolidation high at 2,070 as an overall high from a weekly perspective. If you look at a weekly candlestick, we're basically back inside the sell zone. We are inside of a long-term consolidation. There really hasn't been that much of a breakout from that consolidation over the course of the last 2 years. Now, speaking of consolidation, the market was in a triangle for a few days, broke out of that triangle, retested, and then after that broke out of it again. This was the push that everybody was kind of looking for. The high ended up getting up to 2048, close to that 2070 position, which was the high. But from there, actually, the market actually ended up redirecting and starting to push down to the downside. Currently, right now, from a stochastic perspective, we're in a no trade zone. So for me, I'm not going to trade gold. I'm just going to look at it and see how everything kind of plays itself off going into this week. And then after that, we kind of make a move. It's the same thing that actually ended up happening with the United States dollar index. We take a look at this from a weekly perspective. The um, market has been moving or has been bullish overall based off of this purple trend line. We can see that this market has bounced off of this purple trend line about 4 to 5 times, and then after that, got away from it when it got up to 13,600, and then gradually started to push back down to it again. If you look at this purple dot that we have right here, we see that we're basically at consolidation and basically bouncing off of this overall position. As long as this market holds, then the market's going to end up being bullish overall, and this may be a great value price to be able to get in based off the counter trend line break. So I'm going to pay attention to what's happening based off of the daily and seeing if we end up getting a daily candlestick in the buy zone, and we see this market kind of flush down just a little bit more. If we can be able to get a counter trend line break, kind of play off of this, that I'd be interested in being able to trade it. But until it actually ends up breaking this counter trend line break, then I'm going to end up making purple as well. Then there's really no move to be able to take off of this move. So I am interested in being able to see this. We are seeing that there's a consolidation right around 12,000, 12,770. There's no real actual high as of yet either. So uh, not gonna end up calling it yet for the actual move. but something to be able to pay attention to. But going into this morning, no trade on that one either. Let's take a look at what's happening with U.S. oil. Oil prices finally pushed back up to 82.50. That was something that we ended up talking about a little bit earlier. As soon as it actually ended up bouncing towards that $64 area, until it breaks out at 84.50, there's no trades to the upside um, until it breaks below $70. There's really no play on this one to the downside either anymore. Now, since we're at the resistance, the question is, are we going to stay above this overall price and high? It'll be based off of news. It'll be based off of news to kind of see what's going to end up happening, but still inside of consolidation overall. We did end up hitting the top of resistance when it came down to this movement. Stochastic is still basically in a no trade zone, but that really makes sense because obviously it's been like that since early 2022, November 2022, when it comes down to that position. So um, I am interested to be able to see how the market's going to end up moving. I think the biggest thing overall is going to be um, what's going to happen over the next couple of days. Are we going to finally see a push to the upside off of this move? Or we're going to not a we have the push. The question is, are we going to end up seeing a sustained push and finally can see this movement market start to move? So I am going to pay attention to this one a little bit more. I'm going to jump down to the 2 hour, see how this market kind of reacts. Obviously, we end up having um, we talked about this resistance being right here, right here, right here. We see that it's happening right now overall. Um, we had a breakout. Here's your retest. The question is it going to stay above 82.50? If it stays above 82.50, then the market's truly going to be bullish. If it's not, then obviously you can start look at being able to place in your sales. You can place in sales at this particular point. Then I would say um, I would pay attention to the halfway point because we done hit this more than more than 5 times. So if I'm taking any sales, my sales will end up being back at the halfway point, um, back right around $77 a barrel if I'm trying to get out of it um, from that overall pricing. Remember, retail sales are going to end up coming out. GDP is going to end up coming out for oil, so that's something to be able to pay attention to. But we don't have a full. Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Let me take a look at. Let me take a look at some other charts that have Canadian dollar ties and see if it may be time to look at being able to jump in. We know we're at resistance, so the high will be stop loss will end up being just above this overall candlestick right here. If I was to do a move off of this, I'm gonna wait a couple hours to kind of see how this market kind of reacts first. So, Tran, what's going on? Hope everything's going well with you. Yeah, man, it's been a while. Just got back from vacation. Been working on a lot of products. Obviously, I know been watching you from afar. I know you're doing your thing on. Been doing a lot of stuff on your pages. So good to talk to you. Um, let's see. I do want to look at U.S. CAD just for the sake of being able to understand what's going on with that market. Okay. Da, 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 ba, da, da, da. Just be real quick. Not just 148 has been the high, 120 has been the low for the overall range from a weekly perspective. All right, so let's just keep that in mind. Um, to the downside, since this is 2022, we've seen that the market has been popping up more to the upside. So I'm going to give it a little bit more of an emphasis to saying that the market is somewhat bullish. Would you call yourself an emotional trader? Not nowhere even close. I've been trading at this point for 7 years now. Um, my rules have changed so much since the beginning. At the beginning, yes, I would call myself an emotional trader. Now Either you fall inside of my rules or you fall inside of my rules and I trade you. If you don't, then I don't trade you. Uh, and it's been like that for the last couple of years now. And I think that's done helped me out for trading. If it doesn't qualify based off of the rules and give me a 70 to 80% chance of being able to win, then I don't even consider the trade. That's why when you look at some of my live streams, you'll see that we don't take a lot of trades in the first place. And the reason why we don't is because they don't fall inside of my personal rules of being able to take a trade. Just like none of us was losing money. I won't say that. I've lost a lot of money. Made a lot of money, but I've lost a lot of money too. Okay, so currently right now in the middle of a consolidation between 140 and 132. Uh, can, yeah, 140 and 132. Currently the market's at 133.62. At this particular point, I would consider this to be basically in no trade zone, so I will kind of stay away from it right now. It kind of matches up with what we end up seeing with oil. Kind of matches up what we end up seeing with with U.S. oil, how U.S. oil has pushed up to an overall position of that high 82.50, and then after that started to come down a little bit. But between U.S. and U.S. CAD, obviously, the United States dollar has been in consolidation. The Canadian dollar has been in consolidation as well. Both of them are showing consolidation overall. It just means that it's not ready to be able to make a move. There's no true direction as of yet. Just haven't been there yet. Okay. Let's go ahead and go into indexes. Indexes have been making a little bit better of a move. Let's go US 30 first, and then after that, we'll take a look at what's happening with, take a look and see what's happening with NILS 100. Okay, so on the trading view, take a look at what's been happening with this page. I'm going to be very brief with this long-term chart page. Long-term chart, basically the market's been bullish. We can see that obviously from the Ichimoku cloud and the breakouts of those positions that the market has been bullish overall. So that's what we know. We know that we should be looking for buys. That makes sense because the United States dollar has been losing value. And typically when the United States dollar loses value, then the indexes actually get a little bit stronger. Now, from the last time that we ended up speaking, we talked about a trade where the market ended up breaking consolidation above um, above 32,630. I was interested in being able to take a buy when it came down to that position. The exit position on that one was at 34,255. The market has gotten all the way up to 3,400, and then after that rejected and went all the way back down to 33,730. So if you end up taking that trade and kind of rode the highs, obviously you were in a profitable position. The question is this still a valuable play to be able to get into at this particular point, kind of moving forward? Let's go to the hourly, and I kind of give a better answer when it comes down to that. You notice we're basically back in the middle of a consolidation that ended up happening from January 2023 all the way until the middle portions of February, where the resistance high of that position was at 34 to 60. That's the reason why we end up saying that this takeout position, or where we're going to end up getting out, was at basically that same position. So currently right now, if we look at this from a high volume node standpoint, we're basically above the biggest portion of this high volume node, or the biggest portion of, well, most people end up trading on this one. I am going to look for, um, hopefully we can be able to see a little bit more of a push to the upside if market continues to gradually keep on going up to the upside. Seeing more of a channel that was being created. The question is, is the market gonna continue going through this channel? Now, remember, um, I don't see a lot of stuff that's happening this week, so we may not get the biggest push this week. But I do think that the market probably might fall first. Probably might fall down to 33,850 first before being able to make a move. That'll be the area where I'll be kind of interested in being able to go and kind of make a move off of that. The reason why I'm saying that is kind of twofold. One, if we look at what's happening with the high volume nodes currently right now, if I put a horizontal line at price, we're basically right at the bottom of, or basically in the middle of a low volume node where the market has been kind of flushing through this price, where we end up having this large push to the upside and this large push to the downside. If we fall back inside this area, I think that we're going to get a quick push to the downside, kind of react based off of the bottom of this. And then after that, that'll be the area where I'll be looking at being able to get in, especially if there's more people interested in being able to trade in that area. We know that it's we know that's a channel, so there's no reason to trade in the middle. The question is, can we get a little bit more of a push to the downside going into this morning and see if this market is going to hold within this channel, and then after that, look at being able to make a buy. Currently, right now, nothing to be able to do off of that one yet, though. Hopefully, that made sense. Nas has been the Nas at first has been the biggest uh, area to be able to make pushes and be able to make trades and kind of be safe off of it. I know my automation systems have done very well with Nas compared to anything else this year. Um, but now I'm starting to see a little bit more consolidation. I always say this though, anytime that we have consolidation over top of another consolidation, then that means that we're probably going to see this market move away from move away from the position or move away from the last consolidation, meaning that the last consolidation was right here. We're basically consolidating above it. That means to me that more than likely we will see that there will be movement to the upside. There'll be probably be more movement to the upside than it would be the downside. So we've seen that it's basically been a consolidation in this area multiple times. So it's done found support here. As long as it finds support here, I would go back and well, as long as where we're at right now, two things that I'll be looking for. One, if the market starts to flush down, will it break below 12,885? If the market breaks to the upside, can we get in before the market gets up to 13,170? 13,170 is the clear out price or that breakout price where if it closes above, then I'll be interested in being able to make a move. Currently, right now, we're in the 33% area. Would not make a trade until it breaks out of that 33% area. So I'll be looking at making a trade up here. I would not look at making a trade to the downside as of yet. Remember, we have a D extension that still has not been completed at 13,940 overall. That's a long-term ABCD swing that's been happening since right here. A, B, C fell down here, and the market has been slow, but it's been gradually pushing up to the upside. Okay, so no trades at this particular point. I am interested. Automation systems are currently right now are down on certain pairs, but been getting a little bit more grid movement. So I see what's happening when it comes down to that. So there we go. We'll stop there. We'll take a look at it tomorrow and see how everything kind of goes from there. If you like what I end up doing, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button, getting close to 1,000 people being able to be following what's going on with the page. And I will say we'll see a little bit more. You'll see me a little bit more consistently now because I'm out of vacation and we got a little bit more time to be able to do a lot of stuff. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I'll see each and every one of y'all in the next video. There you go.